to the gods. You're listening to Hindsight Radio. Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changes the nation.
Peace, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Truth Tuesday show with your host, Akeem L, here on Hindsight Radio, the information station, changing the nation. I hope everybody's doing great. Life is always good as long as you hold that thought in your mind. As soon as you change that thought of how life is away from being good, nothing but good, and always working in your favor, it will not work in your favor. It will not be good. So the key to happiness is to keep your mind positive and stay away from negativity. And when it comes your way, rebuke it, shun it, turn away from it, and life will stay good for you. There's always some type of drama going down in this world that we live in. They're always looking to put you in a state of fear constantly. Now it's the gas. People are panicking, buying gas all across the East Coast. This morning, there was about 3 gas stations out of gas that I ran across. I had a half a tank. I said, let me go fill up my car just in case. and I had to drive about 7 miles to get gas. Didn't wait too long, got it. And then as I came over to the office today, um, I saw a lot of gas stations out of gas. And I got to thinking, are we really going to break down in society if we don't have gas? No, these things have happened in the past where I remember in the 70s, there was something with the gas prices, lines were going blocks and blocks. It's every so often that there's something that is created to generate fear so that you can chase after these illusions of lack. If we don't have gas, we'll figure something else out. We always do. Life will go on. You just got to make adjustments. Last year, you couldn't go to work. You made adjustments. And everybody I know that stays in my circle that's around me, they say the same thing. I had one of my best years last year. When hang on, I'm getting a text message. Let's see if that's something y'all guys can hear me. I know what's going on with the camera. I don't let me do my show, please. Thank you. I know I can see it. I got 3 screens here telling me what's going on. If I could adjust it, I would. What was I saying? I appreciate the heads up, but I got it under control. We are always dealing with a situation where someone is going to come at us and tell us that there's a problem. There's lack. We're going to lose. Like I said, last year, they said you couldn't work. You had to wear a mask. We got a pandemic that possibly could kill you. And some people died. But you're still here. You're still here listening to this broadcast. So that means you still got work to do. It's unfortunate that we lose people, but then again, we lose people all the time. It's a common thing for people to die. It is life. This is how life works. People come into the world and they leave the world. Death is part of our existence. And we got to come to grasp that. Is it a bad thing that we'll die one day? No, because then you're going to a next existence. This existence is strictly for one thing, for you to fix that karma. Some of y'all got some karma from past life that y'all must adjust. Some of you guys don't realize the people that's in your life is part of that adjustment of the karma to get it right. And if you don't get it right, you're going to do it again and again and again and again and again and again. This is where you are to rise above the negativity, rise above fear. This is what it's all about. Okay? So you're going to always have news stories about problems. That's their job, is to create buzz so that you can watch them to see what's going on. See, they know that people are attracted to drama. We got all these other channels that's talking about how bad relationships are between us people of color, between the woman and the man. And I see some of the views, it's in the millions. And it just tells me one thing: people are attracted to looking at problems and not solutions. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear, although some of the things that's being said is true, but knowing that it's true doesn't fix the problem. How do we deal with that? How do you fix that? I always tell you, if you want a good woman or a man in your life, you have to think good. You have to be that good that you want. So many people want good, but they're not good inside. They're not ready to be that husband or that wife. I know, my previous marriages, I wasn't ready to be good, or I would still be married. I could blame it on the fact that I was not taught, which I wasn't, how to be a husband. But ultimately, I'm still responsible. That happened. So I wasn't ready. So I can only look to myself for the truth on that matter. I can't blame it or point it at anyone else as to being the problem. If you have a relationship that didn't work out, you can sit there and cry and point the finger at that other person all you want, but at the end of the day, you were part of that problem too. You were the problem. Oh, he did this, he did that. She did this, she did that. Yeah, that may be true. But everything in our experience that we experience is we're drawing it to us. We're giving it to ourselves. We giving ourselves our problems. And we're also giving ourselves our solutions if we look at things deeply. You understand? So that reminds me, I got up early this morning and I found something I wanted to read to you out of the Bible, of course. And if you don't believe in the Bible, that's okay. I'm still going to talk about it, you know, because this is where I grew up on this information, and it's a lot of good information. But I don't want to teach it to you from the old religious way of thinking. I want to come straight from the spiritual. And there's a lot of spiritual information if you really look at it. So let's go to Romans chapter 8. Let me share the screen. Uh, that's not how I wanted to share it, but let me stop that. Share screen. And I want Chrome tab. This one. Got it. All right. Let's make it a little bigger so we could all read that. Yeah. All right. It says here. Where was I? All right, here it is. Was it this one? Let me go back to it because I'll be skimming. All right, here we go. All right, chapter 8. It says there is therefore no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Of course, we know this Jesus term is a relatively new term, and it creates a distraction. When you're using that name, because the real name is Joshua, it's a distraction. And it'll confuse you. This is why so many people are confused, because the way they edited the Bible, they threw these extra names in there. Christ, that's original, but Jesus is not. And if you go to some old Bibles, you'll see that. For the law of the spirit of life has set you free in Christ Jesus from the law of sin and death. For God has done what the law, weakened by the flesh, could not do, by sending his own son in his likeness of sinful flesh. And for sin, he condemned sin in the flesh, in order that the righteous requirement of the law might be filled in us, who walk not according to the flesh, but according to the spirit. So this scripture here is talking about the separation between the physical you and the spiritual you. That's what it's about. None of these scriptures is about some outside entity that's coming to save you. It's all about you. And this is why we're confused, because we're waiting on something to fix a problem that we can fix ourselves. It's you. You're the flesh. And when you Look at the flesh, and this is what this whole gas and people in fear. Oh, I'm fear of not gonna have this gas, and that's a fleshly thought. That's an antichrist thought, actually. Um, and let's flip over to because that was part of what I wanted to talk. And it also notice it says in you. Everything's in you. Let's go to First John. Let's switch this up. Switch that up. It's got to be the better way to share this. I got to figure that out. It says, dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. Now, of course, if you go to a regular church, they're going to preach that like there's some false prophet out there. There's some false thing coming to get you to distract you from God or Christ, right? They're going to teach that. But let me keep going. This is how you can recognize the spirit of God. Every spirit that acknowledges that Jesus Christ has come in flesh is from God. Now, I just brought down what that really is. You have come into this world as the Christ. But if you recognize only the flesh, you will never know that. And the reason why we're distracted, because from the day we're born, we're getting information that says we are sinners. We are bad. We need to be fixed. We need to be washed in the blood of Christ in order to be recognized or be forgiven by God. And people are living by this theology, this teaching, and getting nowhere. Nowhere. Churches is filled with people talking like this. And they still stuck. You can see it. The evidence is there. I don't have to say whether it's true or not. They're stuck for the most part. The churches, they shut their doors because they were afraid of the pandemic, or the government said shut down. They listen to the church. They listen to the government rather than they listen to who they claim to be God. Oh, well, were you trying to keep every safe? But at the same time, you preaching, you got these faith healing churches. You got all these people who say they could do all these things, and they couldn't deal with this spiritually deal with this pandemic. And it was a very simple solution to fixing, keep yourself healthy and not think about the negative, But let me keep going. But every spirit that does not acknowledge Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the antichrist, which you have heard is coming and even now is already in the world. Now, the key word is already in the world. They said the antichrist is already in the world. What does that mean? Let me keep reading. I'll break it down in a second. If it's already in the world, that means the antichrist is already here. It's not something some faiths are teaching that it's coming. It's still coming. Okay, let's keep going. You, dear children, are from God and have overcome them, because the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. Oh, it's saying the one that is in you. What is he speaking of? God that's in you. And the antichrist is the thinking, the fleshly thinking that if something is wrong, that fear. Or someone who is not operating out of love. That's the antichrist. So anybody that is not thinking that they are God and God is in them, that they're an expression of God, they're not an expression of God, is acting antichrist. Remember, in order to have love in your life, you have to be love. In order to know someone or know Christ, you have to be the Christ. In order to have that relationship, you have to, in order to even love anything first, you must love yourself or know yourself or be a friend to yourself. You want to be a good friend, you have to be a good friend to yourself. Because see, what happens? We bring into our life that we think are friends, but we have not yet become a friend to ourselves. So we bring these false friends in, these people that are jealous of us, these people that mean us no good, these people that just want to take from you and use you for what you could do for them. You see? They are from the world and therefore speak from the viewpoint of the world, and the world listen to them. This is why when you speak from the spirit, people can't hear you. When you're trying to teach good stuff, like people don't want to like to hear what I have to say sometimes. Why? Because we're not on the same wavelength. I'm coming from a different place. And it's okay. They might not get it at this point, you know? We are from God, and whoever knows God listens to us, but whoever is not from God does not listen to us. This is how we recognize the spirit of truth and the spirit of falsehood. Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. This is how God showed his love among us. He sent his one and only Son into the world that we might live through him. Live through him. There it is. This is love. Not that we love God, but that we loved us, that he loved us and sent his Son as an atoning sacrifice for our sins. See, the whole Joshua story was to show you what you must do. Regardless of what people do, you must remain in love. You must remain steadfast in your position. So many people, I see it all the time. When you make them mad, what do? They pull back. They take. They take away what their kindness from you. Their kindness changes when you poke them or they feel like you're doing something to them. They don't stay the same. See, you don't know anybody until you poke them, till you stick them in the side. That's when you see the true person. Not to say you do that stuff on purpose. I'm not saying go out and deliberately hurt people or annoy people, but you being of a different personality, you're always going to annoy someone at some point, or they're not going to like something about you. And you just got to watch and see how they react to you. Then you know what they really mean, what you really mean to them. And you vice versa. When someone does it, well, how do you react? Are you vengeful? Are you malicious? That's not love. See, the whole purpose of being in this 3D realm is to operate in love and compassion, and know that people will be people. They will always do something, but you have to remain in peace and harmony. And that's a tough thing to do. I'm not saying I do it. I have issues sometimes with that. And then I got to remember and pull back and recognize that I am the manifestation of God. I am acting as a representative of Christ, the Christ mind, the mastermind, the one who fears nothing. I'm looking at the chat. I don't even know what somebody talking about COVID-19 being in fear. Yeah, there's a lot of people in fear of that COVID-19. Then it says here at the end, dear friends, since God is so loved, that we also ought to love one another. No one has ever seen God, but we love one another. God lives in us. There it is again. God lives in us, and his love is made complete in us. So what is God? God is love. Having love is God, being of God. See, this whole idea of being separate from God is what's causing the chaos. When you believe there's an other outside of you, then you are separated from your true self. When I see someone, that's a representation of God, even if they don't know it. They're a light into the world. They're here to do something great. They're here to contribute to more peace. But unfortunately, we get distracted by the illusions of the media and different things that keep us from seeing our true power. Our true power is in through peace and love. That's where true power is. That is a long-lasting power, because if you look, every country, every person who operated out of some ill will or outside of their true nature, yeah, they seem like they had power for a time, but they fell. See, if you have a country that's run on greed, which this country is run on that's how it operates, greed, and to trick you into giving them more money, it will fall eventually. You don't have to do anything. It'll fall on its face. And then some other world power will take over. History have shown that time after time. So we don't have to sit here and worry about the gas. It'll be fine. They will they'll go on to something else. We'll be all right. If you don't get gas tomorrow, you'll get it the next day maybe. And if you don't get gas, you'll figure it out. You'll always get what you need. There's nothing to worry about. You see the animals running around here all day. They don't go shopping. They don't buy cars. They don't build houses, but somehow they get fed. And they know that one day they will cease to exist. But while they're here, they do what they're made to do. No conflict. You don't see lions having wars with leopards. You don't see leopards saying, I'm better because I'm faster than you. You don't see that the what we consider lower forms of intelligence. You don't see them having these type of problems that we have. It's us that have who's supposed to be of a higher intelligence that we're conflicting over just anything. Like I said, they got this guy. He's making all these videos. He's very popular now. Um, I think he serves a purpose. But what has happened? Other channels come and make videos of his stuff, and it's this back and forth. Now they got him versus this guy, and that, see with the conflict. No one can make content and say, "Well, hey, how can we make this better?" Okay, we know the problem, but how are we going to make this better between us? We could talk about. I could point fingers all day at people, all day, but that doesn't fix anything. And you know what it says? Be careful. You judge, you will be judged. That's not even operating out of love. Like, that's not even a Christ-like personality. That's not even operating out of a higher consciousness. If you're operating out of higher consciousness, you'll sit back and you'll see all of this stuff. And be like, you know what? It's not that important. Long as I keep my focus on my thinking and what I want to attract, guess what'll happen? The very woman or the very thing will come into my experience. See, these people are having all of those problems in their experience because they look for it. They're paying attention to it. No, Hakeem, yeah, them women do be acting this. Them guys do, yeah, okay. Well, you keep looking at that, you're going to keep seeing it, and you're going to keep experiencing it. You're going to keep bringing that into your experience. See, the way to fix an issue is to think on the things that you want, because we attract what we are. Oh, he cheated? Yeah, he cheated, and you a cheater too. I know some people like, yo, I didn't ever cheat. I never did this. I never did that. See, people like to take their little thing ways and reclassify their wrongdoings into smaller wrongdoings. No, he did this. He went as far as this, but she went as far as that. We try to minimize things. I've done that. I'm guilty of that too. I'm guilty. You know, and then I have to look at it. Am I minimizing my wrongdoing to make myself better? Is that operating out of love? Is that operating out of being a Christ-like person? Nope. No, because there's no judgment. In all of the teachings, you never seen Christ judge anybody. And when people try to judge, he pointed out, well, he without sin cast the first stone. So if your sin, if you have no sin, then you could do something. And everybody walked away in silence, right? So yeah, you might have been cheated on, you might have been, all kinds of other stuff, but are you without sin? Are you without, what I mean by sin, do you have the thought in your mind that you are better than someone, that what you do is better than them? Because see, the real sin is this, that you are not God. That's the fall from grace. That's where when you don't see yourself truly how you really are, what your true existence is, that's the sin. All the other stuff is symptoms of that one sin. That's the problem. When I'm not looking at myself as the true light, the true Christ mind, and I'm looking at myself in a lower form, and then I'm looking at other people in a lower form, because in order to look at someone in a lower form or lower self, or to judge someone, that's in your psychology trying to make yourself better than them, look better than them, be better than them. And right there, that's not divinity, because there's no judgment in divinity. See, in divinity, you recognize people will do things, and one day they will change. People change through positive interactions, not negative. You see? What time is it? 7:50. There you have it. If you want change in your life, you have to change your mind. You can't get caught up in all the fear and all of that stuff. And then be mindful of what you're consuming mentally, what you're feeding your mind. We feed our mind a lot of garbage sometimes, and that's why garbage comes our way. All right, so the topic of today is the 14th Amendment. And if you want to speak to me, the numbers across the screen, I'm on YouTube, 563-999-3615. 563-999-3615. You have something to share, questions, I will get to your calls. So we're going to talk about the 13th Amendment. Was it really ratified? What happened? Man, I'm going to read this, and you'll see that we've been looking at this whole thing a little bit backwards. I took the time over the weekend and read it. And so let's see who's in the chat though first. We got Jamie, Shalom, and Maxim Moore, Indigenous Nolans, peace, and Karen Israel, happy Tuesday, ADH, peace. See, here's the negativity right here. Why somebody talking stuff about me? So what? Let them talk, man. The reason why people talk about you is because you're doing great. The reason why I'm being talked about, because I'm great. I'm powerful. People don't talk about people that's not powerful, okay? People talk about you when they think you're better than them. So, hey, I'm great. And peace to whoever, and prosperity to whoever's talking about me. So, but you didn't have to bring that in here. Take that somewhere else. Oh. They want you to talk about negative stuff. Anyway. Won't you go back there and ask him that? Yalikel, peace. C. King Bay, peace. Constitutional rights and law, adjustments in life, yes. Peace. DJ B. Thumner, evening. New Freeman, part LOL. I don't understand that comment. Right? See, we're gonna have to put this New Freeman dude in timeout. Let's send him on to the negative channel. Go over there. They want to hear what you got to say. Uh, D.D. Heyman, honors, peace. Peace to you too. 75-816. And that's all I got in the chat. Oh. All right, let's go to this document that I'm trying to see what I want to. All right, there we go. Go back to the comments. Yeah, I know. I send them packing, y'all. Y'all ain't got to worry about it. You got scriptures up there. Psalms 2 and 3, John 3, and feed your spirits, God, mind with water. Yes, sir. I agree. We have to feed ourselves with life-giving things, properties. Okay? All right. How y'all like my background? See my background back there? My background, Some of the religious folks would say that's demonic. But when you don't know what these things mean, you'll say that. One day I'll break it all down. But I'm gonna have another one. Oh, I see a lot of people got their hand up. I'm gonna come to y'all. Stay tuned. Because I gotta get this lesson out of the way. I'm gonna get on it. All right, let's share the screen. Look like some of my other teammates are here supporting. All right. All right, this is a congressional record right here. This is a congressional record. Let me go down. Let's go to the first page. It's scrolling all slow. This is June 13th, 1967 congressional record, House. So we're gonna go to page 105. And I'll put this in the chat. You guys can read this yourself. So let me make copy and paste this into the chat for you. There you go. That's the congressional record, and it's about the 14th Amendment. All right, let me just make it just a little bit smaller so I can fit it to page. Oh, that's too small, yo. All right, so the 14th Amendment we know what that 14th Amendment is, right? Give me a second. Making some adjustments. Let me put the link up there in the chat. All right. The 14th Amendment, equal protection law or tool of usurpation. Okay, what's that word usurpation? What does that mean? Usurpation. You kind of It means to seize and hold in possession by force or without right. The courts may not usurp the powers of legislature. So it means to seize, to take over, basically, right? That's what it's saying. So here it is. It says, Mr. Pryor, Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the gentleman from Louisiana, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I'm just going to read a part of it because this is going to be like a couple of lessons I got to teach on this. It's a pretty long read, but I just want to get to a part and then I'll come back next week and add on. So here we go. May we extend his remark at this point in the record and include extraneous matter. Remember, this is a congressional hearing. There was no objection. Mr. Rarick, Mr. Speaker, arrogantly ignoring clear-cut expressions in the Constitution of the United States, the declared intent of the drafters, notwithstanding our unelected federal judges, read out prohibitions of the Constitution of the United States by adopting the fuzzy haze of the 14th Amendment to legislate their personal ideas, prejudices, and theories, guilt complexes, aims, and whims. Through the cooperation of intellectual educators, pay attention right here, We have subjected ourselves to accept destructive use and meaning of words and phrases. We blindly accept new meanings and change values to alter our traditional thoughts. We have tolerantly permitted the habitual misuse of words to serve as a vehicle to abandon our foundations and goals. Thus, the present use and expansion of the 14th Amendment is a sham, serving as a crutch and hoodwink to precipitate a quasi-legal approach for overthrow of the tender balances and protections of limitations found in the Constitution. So with this, if I read on, which I'm not, I'm gonna stop there and I'm gonna read the rest, but I want to get to these callers. What they're saying is they started changing words around, and we know they did, because in the 1868 dictionary that I have right here, right there, 1828 dictionary, they changed the meaning of the word black to make it fit us when it meant pale, bleached. Right? I could pull that definition out. Everybody knows that, right? So in here, it's saying that they started changing words. And along with that, they added this 14th Amendment to give you the illusion that it gave you equal protection, equal rights. But if I were to read further, you'll see it didn't really do that. And let me share this. Now, I've taught this in my seminars. Let me share this. Where is it? Window. I taught this thing here. Where's my window? This here, right? Now in here, I want y'all to read this very bottom. And I never paid attention to the bottom of this thing. Right here. Where it says, and now this is pretty much at the time, all of this here is at the time. And notice this guy Pinchback right here. In the Senate Thursday, September 3rd, Pinchback rose to a question of privilege and said, I want to tell them to beware. I want to tell them they have nearly reached the end of their string. The next, that word is very hard to read. I think it says, I figured it out. And then, the next, I can't read, of the kind which they commit, which will be signal for the dawn of retribution, a retribution of which they have not dreamed, a signal that will cause 10,000 torches to be applied to this city of patience, will then have ceased to be a virtue, and this city will be reduced to ashes. Now, this showed you who was part of the Reconstructed Constitution, right? And they got the Constitution of Louisiana here. This guy's holding. And I taught that these are the guys who wrote this, right? Right? But let me tell you, look at these guns right here where I'm putting a circle around. Under O.J. Dunn. It's pointed at this one guy. Over here, it's pointed at him. This is actually a depiction of who they took the government over from. And this guy right here helped them. Now I'm gonna show you something very odd when I pull them up in on Wikipedia. Because right here, remember I told y'all about education, how we had separate schools. And once we got into their schools, that's when we started to decline, right? Well, right here in the public education, it says all children of this state shall be admitted in the public schools or other institutions of learning restrained or established by the state in common without distinction of race, color, or previous condition. there shall be no separate schools or institutions of learning established exclusively for any race by the state of Louisiana. Now, remember, the indigenous people had their own schools. These are the indigenous people here. And see, under the 14th Amendment, what we thought was giving us rights was really they were creating these institutions to put us in. This is why it's called Reconstruction. So they reconstructed history, and then we're going to teach we were the power. But let me show you something else. Next week, I'll read this in its entirety and show you. Let's look up this guy, Pinchback, who was the guy who set him up. Now, when you look up Pinchback, let me share it. Now, y'all see what he looks like right here, right? Well, let's look him up on Wikipedia and show you how they switched up on us. They switching up these images. Hang on. Stop to share. Share screen. Window. Look at this. How did he go from a brother to a Caucasian? But then, if you read it, it says Pinchback was born free in Macomb, Georgia, to Eliza Stewart, a free Negro woman, and William Pinchback, a white planter, saying he was a mulatto. But that picture showed him a lot darker. I'm sorry. All right, and that y'all go read that next week. Be abreast of what I'm gonna go into, because I'm gonna go into in depth in how the 14th Amendment is a fraud. And it wasn't there to do what you think it was going to do. It wasn't there to give you equal rights. It was there to set a group of people that was not indigenous on equal footing with your ancestors in order to do one thing: take your land. Maxim says those Louisiana government agencies may have been European men with dark skin ran by state in that era. Yeah, there were dark skinned Europeans back then too. Yes, you're right. Nobody wants to believe that. All right, so let's see who had some people with their hands up. Let's see who that was. All right, let's go. 919-948.
Hello, team.
Hey. First, before you say anything, I apologize. I know you were trying to tell me about the camera, but I appreciate you showing me that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to be sure about it. Yeah, I've been trying to work on this lens.
Good. I mean, everything looks good. Everything looks good. Like the background. I love the new background.
Yeah. Thank you.
It looks really good on
well, you
YouTube.
helped me pick that out. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's
I
up?
didn't want to take up too much of your time. I was just there was two things that really resonated with me when you were talking about the scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
And one was just a reminder of knowing if we give love, we'll receive love. And also how we have the power in us to I liked how you said it. I don't know if I can explain it the way you can, but that we are what we think we are.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the power in how we think in our thoughts. And
we are a reflection of our thoughts.
Spiritual message I enjoyed.
Yeah, appreciate for adding that. We're a reflection of our thoughts. So we're receiving something or we're experiencing something. We have to go back and check our minds, check our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
We have to do that. And if we can't blame it on anything else but how we're perceiving it. And even if people will come at us negatively, that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge is how we react to that. How do we respond? Are we going to give it back? the same way, because what we put out, we're gonna get back. So we just got to be careful. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's a powerful message because it actually should be a daily practice
Right.
to just telling ourselves, having positive thoughts and just saying to ourselves who we are, because it's so easy for us to just think negative thoughts. And
Right.
when we think negatively about ourselves, that's who we become. If we're thinking that we're going to
We
be
attract
broke, we're
everything
going
to
to
that
become
experience.
If we think we're going to be lonely, we're going to become lonely.
Yep.
So it's a daily practice. So I just wanted to, thank you for that reminder.
All right, you're welcome. Thanks for tuning in and chiming in on that. Thank you. So that's Beth from the Raising Independent Thinkers show. All right, thank you. All right, let's go to the next caller. A reminder, if you want to chime in, call in 563-999-3615. 646-3630.
Hey,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm doing good. Oh, I know who this is. What's going on?
Yeah, you're preaching it, buddy. You're singing. I'm in the choir. I'm in total agreement. Yeah, it took me a long time. Thanks for being so patient. Because I think the antichrist is any thought of Christ outside of you.
Yes,
is antichrist.
definitely.
So when you acknowledge that Christ is within you as the hope of glory, then you circumcise your thoughts and you don't let any. What passage were you reading from?
That was John chapter 4 when I was talking about the Antichrist.
Okay, John 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
Wait a minute.
I gotta look that up.
Let me make sure,
really good.
What I did was I had the scripture. I had a bunch of scriptures up, and when I first scripture I read wasn't the scripture I wanted to read at first. It was talking about recognize the spirit. Yeah, it is John chapter 4 and verses 3.
Discernment of the spirit. Discernment.
Right.
John 4:3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's where it says,
okay, awesome.
This is the spirit of the Antichrist. When you don't acknowledge the Christ in you, that's the spirit of the Antichrist.
And I was thinking, I've been gardening a lot lately, and I'm trying to make compost. So I'm trying to do as little. I don't want to buy any fertilizers.
Right.
And what I'm realizing is, like, in gardening teaches you a lot about the invisible versus the outvisible. We say understanding, overstanding.
Right.
So it's all positional. And what I'm learning in gardening is that if you want to make little inputs from commercial materials like fertilizers, then you have to build the soil correctly.
Right.
And you have to use natural products to do it. And it takes time. But once you've taken that time, you have beautiful abundance, because the fruit outside, the fruits of the spirit, are definitely an expression of what's in the soil. So the same thing, I think religions, they have truth in them, just like, nitrogen that you buy at the store. It's like fertilizer. It's commercialized, but it's the outvisible. And a lot of people, have mistaken the idea of invisible as to mean, something you can't see. That's the not visible. The invisible is that which is seen from within through the eyes of faith. And I'm glad you hung in there with me, because I was very glued to the outvisible. I was always looking at the Christ outside of me because I was raised that way. And so and now it's finally starting to, that seed has grown, and I can really feel it. And I realize that, just like Reverend Ike was saying earlier, the thoughts that I think become the God of my mind, of my garden within.
Yep.
So
you're the God of your experience.
So that means exactly. So that means my attitude about the guy that cuts me off in traffic is everything. The attitude about having a fight with someone is everything. Because my response, if I respond from the invisible, from the vision within, then I see that person as just a wayward God. He's just a God, or she's just a God who forgot who they were.
Right.
And so they weren't governed by the discernment of what is truly spirit. They weren't governed by the fruits of the spirit, which are love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, meekness, kindness, and self-control. And so that's what I've been trying to do. And gardening and listening to your show while I garden has been helping me. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
And then on to the 14th Amendment. I mean, I'm excited to hear this congressional thing on it because
they didn't.
I've never quite.
They installed a whole new government. See that picture? Well, you couldn't see the picture if you're on the phone. The picture I've been teaching that they created this constitution, but now studying this, it's a depiction of a reconstructed constitution showing how these guys had the government taken away from them through usurpation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that picture really indicates. And
so are you saying the picture is kind of like a constructive notice contract? It's like
it's a notice saying
what it was?
That's why I read the guy's statements in the beginning. See, he was part of taking the government from the true owners of this land. He was part of that. So the 14th Amendment was part of the reconstruction of the Constitution so that they could put the settlers on equal footing with the indigenous people.
Right.
And the way they had to do that was they had to change the names and change definitions. That's why he starts out in his speech saying, and I'll read it again. He said it. He said, through the cooperation of intellectual educators, we have subjected ourselves to accept destructive use and meaning of words and phrases. What is he talking about? He's talking about they changed the names and the definitions of things in order to make one group of people look like the other group of people. They basically identity theft.
Yeah, exactly. But in another way, I look at it because there's always an element of consent. Because if we're all great I ams doing business as the names our mom gave us, there's always that element of consent to it. So it's
yes,
like
it is.
Contract
well, it's consensual because you never read the laws. That's how you consent.
Right.
You assumed what the words meant instead of asking whoever was posing these questions. Well, what does that mean? Define what you're saying. Give me the definition of. Explain what you're asking me. Like when we go to court and they just say something to us, do you understand? We never ask, what do you mean by understand? What are you saying? Or when you call my name, what do you mean by, what name are you calling here? What is this? Can you define this for me so that I can give you a proper response, which they will never do.
That's why it was so important for them. That's why it was so important for them to take over the institutions.
Right.
So the institutions could create new culture to mislead people into a new jurisdiction overlay by meaning of the word.
Right. And that's why
the word meanings and then creating.
They had to include.
Didn't they do the same thing with the Bible?
Yes, they did. Yeah. The newer ones, they did. And every time society changed, they went back and they revised it to make it. This is why no one knows that where God really resides. This is why we're confused. The language is confused. The Tower of Babel represents physical language being confused. Also, the spiritual language was confused. You see, there was at a time where we was at the height of our spiritual awareness, and we overstood all of these things, and then confusion set in. And then you had all of these religions break off into different sects, and now this one believes that one believes that, and no one's agreeing on anything. You see? So, yeah, but that was a good way you put it, the inner vision, in the inner, how you put that.
The invisible
instead
of the out visible.
Right.
Instead of the out visible. Because, we've always been looking at the shit from Spielberg, like the Invisible Man, or like the, the misnomer. But that's not visible. That's the not visible. The invisible is what we see from within by the eyes of faith or the eyes of fear. And both of them are substances. They're like, I've been doing this Google Translate thing a lot. I told you about, and like the letters for the word W, is like an Arabic letter that means God. It's like a sine wave.
Right.
And OR is the ore. It's the ormus. It's the white powder substance of metal. And if it's AU, if it's gold, it's the ascending ore. It's like of faith. It's faith in good faith. Like in law, we say good faith, right? Or we say in bad faith. Right. And if it's bad faith, maybe it's the AG. It's the descending order of that, And so the word is, and the D is for Deus, or the God within. So it's the energy sine wave of the W through the OR, the ormus of faith, which is a substance. And that's why I said if you had the
you get deep on us.
What's that?
You getting deep.
I'm getting too deep. Okay, I'll say. Okay.
Hey, I got another caller, but thanks, Matt, for calling in.
Hey, nice talking to you, man.
All right.
Yeah, great show.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Right.
Yeah, he going way out there. He's got 614-364.
Hey, Akeem.
Hey, what's going on? This sounds like the Divine Connection host, Tasia and Jessica.
Yeah.
How you doing? You guys
we're doing good.
Good. All right.
Great show.
Thank you.
I really wanted to touch on something that you said about your thoughts. And it's so important for us to continuously just condition them, because from the first thing you get up in the morning, you have to make sure you command how your day's going to go. And he says declare and structure your day and put those good energies out to the universe. So command your morning. Yeah.
Yes.
So, and
that's
so
powerful.
Important how your mind dictates what the physical realm's going to give you. So it's like the captain of your life. So I just really, you already touched on it, and so that gets me going.
Yeah.
But
the
fear aspect.
Yeah, we have to take control from the very beginning. When we get up, decide how we're gonna have our day is gonna go. Don't let the day decide the outcome. Like we're just letting things happen to us.
Right.
Like you decide, hey, I'm gonna go forth today, and this is what's gonna happen. It's just like in Genesis where it says, let there be light. That's the same concept, the same thing. Today is going to be light. This is going to be a lovely day. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a prosperous day. And let's not forget, it's going to be a money-making day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Just we take what we're given a lot of times, and we just let whatever comes at us. But if you just block those before it can even get started, like today is going to be a great day. It's going to be a prosperous day. I'm going to make today a great day.
Yeah, setting your intentions. But it's funny he said lovely day, because it's an old song now, but Kirk Franklin's Lovely Day, I was playing that last week a couple of times last week just to set my day, because
Kirk Franklin, is that what's Kirk Franklin you talking about?
I thought it was called Day.
Something like that.
Let me look at my library.
There's another guy who sings like that, sings Lovely Day. I don't think that's the title of the song.
No.
He's the same guy who sings Stand By Me. Not Stand By Me.
Sam Cooke.
It's not Sam Cooke. I have this song on there, Lean on Me. The guy who sings Lean on Me.
Oh, Kirk Franklin got to lean on me too.
Yeah, Kirk Franklin do too.
But I know what you're saying. The lean on me.
Bill Withers.
He's like
Bill Withers.
No, what you said? What?
Bill Withers. He's old. So you guys might.
Bill Withers. I know him. I know who he is.
And he sings something. It's going to be a lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day.
Yeah.
You know that song?
Yeah.
I think that's the same guy.
That's all he does is take old songs, make them
refurbish them.
Right.
And then another thing that you were talking about the pandemic and how you've been making money from it, and I mean not from it, but
Through it.
through it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like with in business, it's like you're always trying to solve a problem. So even when the situation, it may seem that it's detrimental to what's going on in your life, it may not be. Actually, you create more opportunities for different avenues.
Right.
I know I had a friend that actually was opening a restaurant, and through the pandemic, but had to take a different route and end up having a food truck. So actually, that was a better business model. So we got to just make sure we're open to different opportunities, and not just because it could have just, he just could have just gave up on it,
Right.
you know, like it's not gonna work out, but there was a way.
Yeah, it's like Akeem said, that they have to adjust
Yes.
with the times. You just have to adjust.
Yes, you're gonna
And
have
a lot
to.
of things change.
Right.
You know, it's a reset right now, and there's so many business opportunities that's opening up that we don't have to actually be in a physical place. It's all digital, so it makes it more open for you. So yeah, it's just interesting to see how things are changing, and it doesn't all have to be bad, you know.
No, it's just well, see, the world, even how we got here, our very existence came here through chaos, through an explosion. You ever seen that film where it shows how the sperm cell, once it enters into the egg, how it just a big explosion goes off? This is where the philosophers got the whole Big Bang theory, through the concept of conception. And then they said, well, this is how the universe came into it, this whole Big Bang theory and this and that. They figured that out through the concept of how we are conceived, because that's how we get here. So they come up with this logical conclusion. Well, everything else got here like that, because as above, so below. So everything comes through with what we're calling chaos, but it's not chaos. The pandemic, COVID-19 seemed a little chaotic because it was different from our normal routine, but it was perfect because one simple thing: majority of this planet was tired of going to work for somebody or just doing it, period. It was tired of being slaves to these different companies. But when it happened, when they got what they were holding in their mind every day and they just shut down, they were like, what is this? They didn't recognize this is the gift you've been looking for. This is what you wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, the collective mindset of man and women were, I'm tired of being clocking in. You know, maybe you had the weekends off or whatever days you have off. You were not looking forward to showing up to work on that next work day. For the most part, everybody was thinking like that. So guess what? It came by way of a virus to keep you home. That doesn't, when you really look at it, didn't seem like that serious. You know, even right now with the numbers, it's like 99% survival rate, pretty much 98. So, but let's not look at all of that propaganda or whatever goes along with that, but look at, what did it do for you? It gave you an opportunity. I've watched YouTube family channels where people said there was this comedian from Saturday Night Live. What's his name? He's from Staten Island. I can't think of his name. But he said that he moved in with his mom, his sister, everybody came home during that time. He moved out since then, but everybody started having fun, playing board games and stuff like that. It gave him an opportunity to be a family again. And that's what, instead of looking at all of the negative, the people dying and all that, look at what it did for people. People started businesses, like you said. People started making money. I made money off my cryptos, currency that I was investing in. And I was totally dead set against cryptocurrency a year earlier. But shoot, I'm not now, not anymore.
Okay.
Once I actually did it, I was afraid to do it. It's a digital currency. But then I said, wait a minute, the dollar is fake. So I'm not, let's make some money. you know, and shared it with a few people, and they're making money now. They're looking at it differently after they saw that they can make money, you know. So life is always giving us what we're asking for, but sometimes it comes in a way that looks chaotic, looks confusing.
Yeah.
And the only reason why it looks confusing is because our physical self, the antichrist mind, can't see where it's taking us. And we need to know. We need certainties. We need to. No, you don't need the certainty. Sometimes you just got to jump off that cliff. You got to jump in and let it take you. You see where it's going to take you. See, you're never going to become wealthy or successful playing it safe. Never. Not in relationships, nothing. You're never going to have what you want to have. You're never going to have the husband, wife, boyfriend, whatever, playing it safe. You're never going to have the money or anything playing it safe. And you're never going to have what you really want following traditional ideas. You know, that's what I had to say about that. But yeah, good points you guys made. Beth made a good point as well. Everybody's got good stuff. You know, maybe we should just talk about spiritual things. Bump all the other teachings all the time. You know? So all right.
They'll be messaging you.
Pete Davidson. That was the name. Beth just sent it to me. Pete Davidson. And I was watching him on the Breakfast Club, and he was talking about how they moved in. Yeah.
Yeah, success looks different to everybody. So to me, that sounds like he had a successful, this time has made people grow closer. So there's successful relationships happening or mending through all of this. So success in money and wealth, and success in health, success in relationships.
Yeah.
Or business ventures. So yeah.
Even personally too, just because I know through all this I have a lot more time to develop myself. So personal development as well, because I could took 2 hours out of my days for travel. So that's another 2 hours I can invest in me. I can invest in family. I can invest in business.
Right.
It's
right.
Working out.
We were given it. Listen, this whole thing was a gift. It really was. In a lot of ways, if you looked at it through a spiritual lens, like I said, people will always die. We're gonna always have that happen. That's a part of our existence, and we can't allow that to stop us from progressing. You know. All right, thanks guys for tuning in and supporting the show. All right, guys, take care.
All right, peace.
Peace. Just as a reminder, we have the Raising Independent Thinker show on Sundays at 7 p.m. And then we have my show, of course, tonight, Tuesday, 7 p.m. I'm going to be doing a lot more work, more shows like, live shows or just YouTube. That's coming now that I got my space organized. And then on Thursdays, we have the Raising Independent, I'm sorry, the Divine Connection show on Thursday. And we have Solomon Temples every Wednesday, talk about health, wellness type things, 10 a.m. on Wednesday morning. I see there's another caller. I'll get you in a second, 816-462. Give me 1 second. And we have Bun Bay on Mondays. That's his show, but his food truck is so successful, it's hard for him to do the shows. So we're going to talk about that. We'll get that straight now. All right. Let's go to 816-462.
Peace and love, brother. How you doing?
Peace and love to you too. Peace.
Hey, I just have a quick question. I need a little guidance. It was pretty much what the last caller was talking about. so far as having positive thoughts, waking up with positive thoughts, and saying your affirmations to yourself early in the morning before your feet touch the ground. Well, I have a problem. Usually I go to bed upset and I wake up upset, and it's not a good thing.
Oh,
so
I can tell you it's
my
not.
thing is,
Because it's creating the rest of the day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I say that's what's creating the rest of the day. Those thoughts.
Yes, sir. I know. I noticed, and so I've said my affirmations. I've attempted to say my affirmations several times, and I thought to myself, well, I'm saying these affirmations out of anger, and out of hate, and out of spite, And I start doubting my affirmations because I don't want to give. I don't want to speak. I feel like I'm trying to speak positive out of a poisonous environment. And I just need some guidance on that.
Okay.
I'm stuck right now. I just need a little guidance.
All right.
I appreciate it.
What I'm gonna tell you, it might sound like I'm overcomplicating or oversimplifying your issue. And I know it's not simple because one of the hardest things for us to do is to change our thinking. And especially if we're in an environment that's not conducive to positive, positive thinking. Because, we're surrounded by negativity everywhere we go. People will notice, hey, you could tell them, hey, I just did this, and then you share it with them. Then they say, well, they won't say it's good first. They'll point out what you did wrong first. You see what I'm saying? Right. And they're not doing it maliciously. It's just how people are programmed. So, let me ask you a question, though, if you don't mind. We're on a live stream, but what you tell me could help other people. Okay, no problem. So I'm going to ask you a question. What's going on? What's the issue that's got you angry?
Man,
see, we can't fix it until we identify what it is that's making us feel the way we do. No, I'm sorry. I interrupted you, but go ahead. No,
I'm just my past is caught up with me so far as felony wise and working on my marriage. Those are my two main issues right now.
Okay, so you had some issues legally that sounds like it's preventing you from getting work.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. And then, of course, that filters into your personal relationship with your wife because she feel like you're not doing what you need to do to sustain the house as a man. Right?
Yes, sir.
In the area? Okay. And those are what men think about. One of the things we're made to do is to please our wife and please our family and feel like we're accomplishing something in our life. So to simplify what you're saying to me, you just feel like you're not succeeding. And anything you do you feel like everything you do is not succeeding. Like no matter what you do, it's going wrong.
I'm not succeeding and I'm not worth it. It's how I'm feeling.
Okay. And that's the root of the issue right there. The root of the issue is how you see yourself. Brother, no matter what you did in the past, listen, I don't have thankfully, I've been fortunate enough not to have a criminal record. Doesn't mean I didn't do something criminally. Life just worked out where it didn't put the black eye on my record where I, couldn't get a job. And I'm going to tell you why. It doesn't mean that I'm better than you. It's just that my thoughts at the time was I'm not going to let what I did in the past stop me from succeeding in the future. So what you're going to have to do is get rid of all of the guilt and shame of the past and leave it where it is. It don't exist anymore. It happened in the past. Now, the reason why all of these things are affecting you now, because you believe in the failure. You're believing in that you can't get it right. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you're saying at some point, well, I'm good. You might speak good to yourself. And then the anti-thought comes into your mind while you're doing that, and then you believe that thought over the thoughts you have. See, in order to be successful in anything, you have to see yourself as a success right now. Now, you have to see yourself, I'm good. I'm divinity. I'm God in the flesh. God is in me. You have to see yourself as God. I know that's tough for a lot of people to do that, to say, I am God.
Right.
It was tough for me. There was a time I would call that blasphemy, and wouldn't even fathom the thought. But guess what? It took years. It took years for me to actually believe it. I was saying it at a point, but I didn't believe it. But now I know it. Not just believe it, I know it, because everything I think, I see it, whether it's good or bad. If there's something negative coming, I thought about that negative thought. And all the stuff you're seeing, you thinking about not having a job. You're thinking about, I don't have a job. And because you're thinking like that, you're going to continue to not have a job. So what you got to do is every morning envision yourself having a job and be specific about the job. Now, let me ask you a question. What kind of skills do you have?
25 years in the warehouse, pretty much. I like to move around. I like to work with my hands. I like to stand on my feet and move around. I'm not the best person.
What kind of things do you do with your hands? Like, what kind of work can you do? Can you fix cars? I mean, what is it?
Oh well, I'll do a little stuff. I'm not a mechanic or anything. I'm a little handyman.
So you're a handyman
stuff around the house for people. Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm not a grade A handyman, but I do what I can.
But you could do some things. You could paint. You could do things like that, like little jobs. Okay. There's an app. There's an app for people like you. It's called, and I use it. I needed my office painted, and I used it. Called the guy out. He came and painted my office for me. And I'm going to give you this app, and it might help you. It's called Thumbtack. And there's other apps like that where you put yourself on there and you say what you can do and this, that, and the other. What state do you live in?
I'm in Texas right now.
Texas? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Man, it might, listen, it might take you go buying a case of water and just selling some water to get some money for now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You might have to do the extreme.
Right now I'm investing in some, I'm doing some t-shirts. I'm trying.
Okay, well then you're doing something. See, stop looking for somebody to give you a job and you make the job yourself. There's money, it's plenty of money out there. There's plenty of money out there. Now, I kind of understand what you're going through. You're trying to start the T-shirt business and you're trying to do all these other things. And then your wife might be breathing about your neck about the bills. You know, like, hey, you know, you need to do something. Because some people might be saying to you, well, you might need to go get a real job because they don't appreciate you trying to start your own business. But with a previous record, it's very hard to go into some of these jobs because they don't give you an opportunity. You know, just show them that you changed your life.
I'm not better than anybody flipping burgers. Flipping burgers is just not what I'm trying to do right now.
Right.
I've done that too, and I'm done with that.
Okay, but you got to make money now. You got to bring some bread in.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
You know, so sometimes that flipping them burgers is a step in the right direction. Not to say you're going to be there permanently, but if that's what you can get and you don't have nothing else coming in, you might have to do that.
Better grab it. Right.
That's called part of being a man. Sometimes there's a lot of jobs I took that I didn't want to have, but I took it because it was bringing the bread in. It was bringing something in. Okay, so ain't nothing wrong with flipping burgers if it's paying bills. It ain't nothing wrong with delivering some pizzas if it's paying bills. It's not the ideal place, but what I'm saying is, always say to yourself, envision what you want, long as it's not hurting somebody, and think on that all the time. You will see it eventually. You have to live in the moment like it's actually happening to you. You have to fantasize. You got to live in a dreamland. That's what they call it, being a dreamer. Yes, I'm telling you, dream. Dream a big thought. Because this is all the millionaires and billionaires had a vision and they stuck to that vision. And then it became a reality.
Right.
See, what they teach is, oh, be realistic. You could do this. No, I'm telling you to be unrealistic, which is that totally against traditional wisdom. Be unrealistic and think grandiose ideas of wealth and prosperity. And when it comes to your wife, think nothing but good things towards her. Yes, she might give you some attitude here and there, but you have to look past that and still be loving and kind. You know, you got to work through it. It's going to be a challenge, of course. But it's all about how you see things and how you see a thing. And one thing I'm going to tell you, brother, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just an idea you think something is wrong with you. Having a felony record or doing things, against this, that got you a record doesn't make you no less than anyone else out there. Some of the biggest crooks is down there on Wall Street. They just don't have the criminal record to follow. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
See, real gangsters wear suits and they work for corporations. Okay? So
right. You're sure right about that.
Right, those are the real gangsters. So what I'm saying is they just so happen, and what's the difference between you and them? They think big money, you're thinking little money. You have to think the big money. You have to think millions, billions. You have to think like that. You have to change your mind. It's all about a mindset. Your only issue is your thoughts. That's your issue. The other things are just symptoms of the thoughts. See, if we could get that right, well, I got all these problems, but those are not the problems. That's the symptoms of a bigger problem of you not seeing yourself seeing yourself as a divine being sitting here to be light to whoever comes into your world or into your life. Nobody, don't think like you're a bad person because you got a record, you did some things. There's nobody on this planet that has not done some things. Some worse, some little, when we start classifying these things, is this we get into this thing of making ourselves better than the next person. A wrong is a wrong, no matter what.
Right.
What's the good thing about it that you came on here and you recognized it. See, you already starting off. You recognized that you needed an adjustment in how you thought and think. See, that's the awareness of it is where the change starts to come.
Okay.
You're aware, okay. You don't want to be broke, right? You want a good relationship with your wife, right? So guess what you got to do?
Correct.
Stop thinking on broke things and stop thinking about a bad relationship with your wife and start fantasizing about having a good relationship. Start fantasizing about having a lot of money. Start fantasizing and thinking and knowing that you are a good person, that you are great, that you are a divine being sent here to be divine. You just got distracted early in your life through possibly your surroundings distracted you. You believed in what was being told to you at a young age or in a younger time in your life. You believed the lie that you had to do all of these things for whatever it is you did. Those were illusions you chased. But the real truth is you are God in the flesh. You are divine. You are a spiritual being. The flesh is just, I told someone this a couple of weeks ago, it's just a spacesuit, basically, to exist in this 3D realm, to survive here. But the true you, the divine you, lives past that. It's bigger than that. So you have to start looking at that part of you and stop looking at that other you. that you created. That was your creation. That other you with all of the problems, you created that. Just like, so if you create that, you can create that. You can create another version of you.
Another new me.
It's all about accountability and self-awareness. See, I could go tell you to read this book, read that book, and read all that. There's a lot of books you can read. But the only place you're going to get the real truth is within you, in you. And the only place I could redirect you is to the God in you.
No, sir. Okay. Okay, brother. I appreciate that. I really do.
That's it. See yourself as powerful and having all the things good that you desire. And stay there. Wake up and command, like the sisters were saying. Command your day to be good. I'm going to have a good day. I go forth into life today with having a wealthy thought. I go forth into life today having a loving thought. You know, you got to say these things to yourself. This is what I'm going to do today and be committed to that. And yes, will the negative thoughts come charging back? Yeah. Why? Because you're so used to thinking like that. The old you is going to want to come back. It's going to rear its ugly head, but you're going to have to, that's not what I want. That's not what I think. Hey, you get out of here with that. Yes, your mind might shift to that. That's natural, but you have to bring it back. You have to
bring it back.
Tug, you got to bring it back. As soon as it comes, bring it back. And the only way you're going to keep doing, you got to keep practicing this.
All right.
And you got to feed your mind with positive thoughts. You might be in an environment where there is negativity, but if you go and deliberately find you some positive things like Reverend Ike, the only person I can think of is Reverend Ike. The only person I can think of.
That's okay.
And listen to him. Wake up, play him in your ear at night, and keep doing that. You will see a change. I promise you. I guarantee you. This works.
Okay.
This works.
Definitely will.
Okay.
Brother, I appreciate you. I really appreciate
I appreciate you,
Tuck,
getting on and being bold enough to ask that, because a lot of people are ashamed to say they got a problem. You see?
Thank you. Yeah.
A lot of people are ashamed. That's commendable right there, that you was able to come on and say that, man. That's big.
Okay. Thank you.
Listen, I didn't deliver you. You delivered yourself.
Right.
Because all I did was redirect you back to yourself. That's it.
Right.
You had the answer. You already knew the answer. I just reminded you of the answer.
Yes, sir. Okay.
All right, brother.
Appreciate it, man. I don't want to hold anybody.
Well, check back in with me, man.
Listen,
don't go being a stranger and just, keep, because how we build each other up is we keep coming back.
I'm listening to you every week.
Okay, well,
I'm listening to you every week. That's me on there, 75816. That's me.
Okay, all right. I got you, brother. All right.
Yeah, that's me.
All right, peace, man. I really appreciate that. That was the highlight of the show. All right, brother.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Man, you got to shout out to the brother for getting on and actually saying he needed some help. So many of us need help and we won't say it. You're not going to get any help if you don't open your mouth. You're not going to get any help if you're just sitting back hiding it. Other people listen, his problem is no different than everybody else's problem that's having a problem. It's just as simple as how you see yourself. You got to develop a love for yourself. And if you do that, everything changes. It's all about him. He'll change that. Watch. He'll see a difference tomorrow. And if you're still listening, once you see that difference, that light, hold on to it and recognize what you did to get it and keep doing it. And associate with people who want to go where you go as far as positivity and want to think. Shun negative thoughts. Even you might get a negative thing from your wife. She might say something. Just say, "Hey, babe, I hear what you're saying," and say something positive back to her. Just redirect all of that. And you will get resistance at first because they're not used to you being this new you, this higher self. But as you keep doing it and make, because see, trust got to be earned. So as you keep doing it, the trust builds up. So there you have it. Let's see what's going on in the chat, man. I really appreciate that, brother, for that. Chuzilla said, good show. Hey, that's my brother. My brother, he does that intro, outros. He does them for me. He hooked me up. CLD Trust says, bless and peace to the brother and his family. We're sending you love and light. Look, people supporting you, bruh. See, those are good shows. All of that, yeah, I could teach y'all about the 14th Amendment. I could teach y'all about, CPNs and all that. But if I could teach y'all how to think and how to see yourself, that's priceless. The brother said, I need to try to get some things in order myself, working for others, not for self. Keep us stuck in the trap all day. True. The brother Mexim said he's in Texas. Hire yourself. Yeah, my brother said hire yourself. That's it. I gotta take that back. I be saying, oh, my family don't support, but that's not true. My brother always supports. He's in the room. He sends me the drops for the show, and they some hot drops. Listen, he gonna be getting hired by these major corporations, these major outlets to do his drops. And guess what? He's self-taught. Yeah. All right, hey, I think that was a great show. It's almost 9, 5 minutes to 9. Let me see if I got anybody else on. Nobody's else on. Well, I guess that is it for me today. I appreciate you guys tuning in and support the show. I put my Cash App up there if y'all want to donate. This stuff costs money. I got to do this to help y'all be successful. It costs money. If y'all want to donate, there it is. There's my Cash App. Somebody got a comment up there. All right. Well, peace, everybody. I will see y'all at the next live.
Peace to the gods. You're listening. Peace to the gods. You're listening to Hindsight Radio. Hindsight Radio.
I represent it.
The information station changes the nation.